Thank you for joining us. Today's Elko Live features our regular update in Elko County school news here on KELK. We're so pleased to double up today with our Elko County School Board trustee. We have Dr. Josh Byers in the house. Welcome, Dr. Josh. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's nice. We're going to get an update from our school board trustee point of view alongside C.J. Anderson, our Elko County School Superintendent. C.J., thank you for being on the program as you usually do.
As always, fantastic to be with you, Lori. Thank
you. Thanks. So the first thing we want to do is get some accolades in for teachers, because not only are teachers, we should appreciate them every day, day in, day out, but there's a special time of year, Teacher Appreciation Month, week, and boy, do they deserve it, because this has got to be so tough. Everybody's getting spring fever, wanting to get out, right, Dr. Josh?
Oh my goodness, yes. I have quite a few teachers under care, and the conversation goes to those kids are ready to be out in the sun for sure, especially with our weather currently, right, going up and down, and 1 minute it's warm, 1 minute it's cold, and they're definitely ready to go for sure. So with all of that, and teachers is great. They continue to just roll with what they need to do and take care of our students at every level. I have a high schooler, so I focus on high school a lot of times when I'm talking, but I have quite a few elementary teachers as well, and they all deserve so much praise. They do so well, and in our district as well. I talk to other folks that are involved in the school process in other areas, and we have a really good district. I know that there's folks that think we don't, but we really, really do, and these teachers are a big portion of that. And so we just, myself saying, but I know the board will reciprocate that we appreciate everything that they do.
Thank you, Dr. Josh. And we know the community has actually responded, right, CJ? Our superintendent, CJ Anderson. Apparently there have been some gifts and things that have kind of come rolling in, depending on where you're teaching.
Yeah, and this is something we enjoy and appreciate every year. From I'm not going to go through all the people that do it because I'll surely forget someone. But there's a lot of people who want to show some appreciation. Sometimes it's easier for a business to give of their product or whatever, as opposed to contributing financial dollars to a school or to a whole district. And so it's just a nice little emblem and something they can do to show that appreciation, because sometimes we think we silo people, right? Like, oh, this is the gold mines, and these are the teachers, and these are the whatever industry, right? And but really, in every single one of those places, you have parents of children, you have people who employ high school kids, who employ future graduates, that sort of thing. So everyone should be. If you're not invested in the schools in our district, you ought to be. Our schools are developing the future of our community, and so to see people just show appreciation in any way they can to our teachers, whether it's monetary through gifts or just through expressions, verbal expressions, social media expressions of gratitude. Those things mean a lot to the teachers. Dr. Byers just mentioned how teachers are constantly adapting and rolling with the punches, and our children are not they're not computers. There's no troubleshooting manual for a kid that's struggling at something, right? Like, you have some tried and true practices that as a teacher you can sort of lean on, but in the end, a good teacher, someone who's worth their salt and someone who's just killing it out there, they are excelling because they know that individual child, and they are spending the time necessary to work with them, and they're helping that kid on an individual basis. And that's really like the magic and the heart of a teacher, is that as opposed to fixing a piece of equipment, that there's pretty much a process you follow every time. With every child, you have to know them, you have to care about them, you have to love them, and that way you can truly know how to help them wherever they happen to be and whatever's going on in their life that day.
Thanks, CJ. Our school superintendent, he took the word I was thinking, which was magic, because that's really where the magic happens in classrooms all over the school district. And so, Dr. Josh, we were going to get from you maybe an update on the Board of Trustees. Met recently Tuesday, and not a lot of heavy lifting on the agenda, but obviously maybe something stood out for you as a board member.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every board meeting, right,
exactly.
stands out tons, and this was 2 days ago. So no, I know the board had some discussion on one of the updates we've been talking about to grammar number 2. And so the discussion was around finances, because, if the board had unlimited finances, I don't think it would really be a discussion. It'd be, hey, this is an identified safety need and a need that we have with that, with changing the front office configuration. So, but it really boils down to, we're trying to make sure we have limited funds and currently in the current landscape. And so we're trying to make sure that we spend those dollars appropriately, right? So the discussion was just around, is this a viable way to spend funds? Or are there other alternatives? And so at the end of the discussion, it was agreed upon to go out to bid. So, hey, let's go out to bid and take a look and see how much is this really going to cost. We have a pretty good estimate. The partners we have and the folks that work under Mr. Anderson over here, they really understand the board is really trying, and I know they are as well. We're trying to nail that down so we can make good decisions. So
it's about a 100-year-old building. Grammar number 2.
I went. I mean, I'm gonna date myself, but I went to grammar number 2. And I played PAL basketball in that older gym too as well. And
it's a wonderful school.
It's a great school. And that's not even the question is just, hey, we have a route that we have to have parents and visitors go through, and it was identified that maybe that might be the best route. Mm-hmm. And then how do we augment that? So it was good discussion. Our board is really good. Sometimes we get on there and everybody can outside looking in, but at the end of the day, we're all just trying to help give the best environment for the students. And so we went to bid for it, and we hope to get a bid back, and we can then make the ultimate decision of, okay, we can definitely afford this and we're spending those dollars appropriately. So,
And you've been on the board for a while now. So.
Oh my gosh, is it 3 years?
I think
Mm-hmm.
3 years.
Yeah, 3.
Appointed to fill a vacancy.
Yes,
and then
yes,
elected.
ma'am. Yep,
Yes.
yeah, and then mm-hmm. elected twice actually, because the position I was in, or the board position I was in, was it was needed to be done. Yeah, it was appointed, so there was there. So, so been there a little bit. 3 more years. Approximately, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but so looking forward to that. That's great. Honestly, I have enjoyed my time on the board. There were some pretty tumultuous times.
Absolutely, you stepped on at a tumultuous time. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
So it was a steep learning curve, and there's still things to learn now too. I don't assume to know everything. I don't assume to be in any greater position than I was when I first started. But I do enjoy the challenge that it brings, and I enjoy the staff that is at the Elko High, or not even Elko High School, at the Elko County School District. I enjoy everybody there, and so it's really good. It's a good time.
Thank you, Dr. Josh. Josh Byers, of course, is he's the trustee on the Elko County School Board, switching back over to our superintendent, CJ Anderson. And CJ, we can talk about maybe the legislative session. Things are still so fluid. We're already looking at a special session for sure, if not more than one, the way that there's a lot of financial insecurity right now. How does that impact the Elko County School District?
Yeah, so for us, it just, it kind of delays our ability to kind of appropriately forecast and plan our budget out. Really, that's the biggest impact, because whatever bills come out that maybe affect policy or even some practice, like that's okay. We can adjust to that whenever it comes. But inevitably in our legislative sessions, and this is predictable, this happens almost every 2 years, this is the case, is you don't really know what your budget is going to be during that legislative year until long after you've already, because back in April, we did our first tentative budget, and coming up here at our next meeting on May 20th, we have to kind of get approval so we can submit our final budget. But that's all just guessing on what it's going to be. And so and
we're talking per pupil funding. This isn't any capital needs.
Right. Yeah. Right. No, this is just the money that we're going to get from the pupil-centered funding plan. And we have some ideas based on what the governor has said his proposed budget would be. And, we've gotten pretty good indications that while there will not be a reduction in funding, that it's likely to be flat funding. which for us kind of does mean a reduction in funding, right? Because the cost of living goes up, the cost of products goes up, our employees have steps and salary increases that happen naturally, even if we don't negotiate a collective increase. So the cost of everything continues to go up. So when there is flat funding, it really does mean we're losing some money. But all that to go back to your initial question of, yeah, like it's hard. We're just making guesses at this point, and there's no way we can possibly know for sure what that dollar amount is going to be. And the Nevada Department of Ed does a good job of kind of keeping us updated on like, this is kind of what we're projecting, and so you try to make those best decisions. But if something happens real late in the game, then well, now we're all pivoting and we're making adjustments based on that.
Yeah, might not know until it's time to get back to school, honestly.
Yep.
Just wanted to bring listeners up to date too. According to the Nevada Independent, it was just a few hours ago, but a Nevada Budget Committee recommended continued funding for K through 12 educator raises for the next 2 budget years, but they have rejected the Governor Lombardo's request to expand the raises to charter school educators. So that kind of sets things up a little bit. But if we read ahead, we also see that it appears as though there will be additional talks, and certainly with a special session, because the governor has already said, he'll veto any bill that the Democrats bring unless they improve education, as he says, for all Nevada children. So certainly not something that you're out there debating with the legislature, CJ, but
no, and some of that doesn't impact us directly, but I'll say a couple of things that I've said before, but in case it's worth reiterating and people can hear again, I support the work that our charter schools do, both the EIAA, and I know we have the Classical Academy that's going to be having its inaugural year coming up in the fall. In the end, I support any school model that's going to benefit a child. I recognize that every school environment is not going to be the ideal school environment for a certain kid or for a certain family, or a certain delivery model may not be the best method. And so I don't believe that there's a silver bullet when it comes to education. So I'm not. Well, I think there are some things that are problematic about school choice movements that happen around the country. I think it's great that there are entities that want to educate our children appropriately and help them be successful. Don't really have too much of an opinion on how the legislators decide what they're going to do there. The other thing that I want to reiterate too, that I feel very strongly about, is there's a lot of talk in our state, and I have the benefit of having been an educator in another state and having received my education in multiple other states. So I've been around the country a little bit and have seen the landscape over decades. And what I do know is that here right now there is a lot of talk about accountability and how that's going to and how we need to have more of it, and it's how, in order to find improvement, you have to have increased accountability. And I know that no superintendent or the state public charter school authority shies away from accountability. The problem that I have with the conversation right now is that it's accountability without increased support. And my personal opinion, I heard this somewhere once, and I don't know where, I can't remember where to attribute it to, but essentially the phrase is that an increase of accountability without an increase, like a reciprocal increase of support, is just going to lead to frustration. Because and you see it with him. Dr. Byers is a business owner. If he just heaps more expectations on his employees without giving them additional resources and supports that they need in order to accomplish their job the way he expects them to, that's just going to lead to frustration for that employee, because it feels like, okay, well, thanks for the extra burden, but where are you to help me out with that, right? And I think the farther away you get disconnected from the people who are making those decisions, the greater that resentment and that frustration is going to be, because you've got people who are totally disconnected from what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, making those decisions and saying, we expect more out of you, but also, we're not giving you extra funding. We're not going to take care of those mental health resources that we're also saying are essential. We're not going to give you the capital funds that you need to make your building safer. Like, I could go down a list of about 50 things. And so not scared of accountability, not shying away from it. We are our own greatest critics, I think, when it comes to knowing what we need to do better. But all due respect to the governor, and I've had the pleasure of interacting with him many times, and I greatly respect him. But a conversation from him or anyone else that ends at "we need to do better," bottom line, and you got what you got, make the most of it, is not. It just doesn't feel very supportive. And we're going to continue to support our teachers and our kids and our families every way we can with the resources we have and with the expertise that we carry. But there's only so much you can do given the resources you have, and we're dedicated to doing what we can with those.
C.J. Anderson is Elko County School Superintendent. Does anything that our superintendent has said surprise you, Dr. Byers?
No, not at all. We have conversations, in this manner quite a bit, and support continues to be a big topic. Everyone does, just like Mr. Anderson said, everyone wants accountability. And they want people to do things. And a lot of times they want them to do them the way that they want them done too. And if we bring that in the conversation, but having support is a big deal. All stakeholders need to support. And, he would probably back me out. A lot of our conversations, I'm the one talking about how you guys need greater support from stakeholders. And in order to have more, and anybody can call him up or send him an email. And I have never seen him say, well, you're not getting that. If it's not warranted, so no, the support that we need is a thing. It needs to be going.
Well, so when you came on the board too, there was this heightened scrutiny, and it continues, in a way with the Elko County Commission, steering the funding resources, Dr. Josh, and we can have this conversation because you're elected. Mm-hmm. We can't have this conversation with our superintendent. That's also, put the school district in a terrible position to really steer your own destiny, if you will.
For sure. We're now, in essence, we're accountable to the county commissioners, and I'm good, bad, or indifferent, whatever that conversation is. It still impedes the district in a lot of the decisions they can make. I can't tell you how many times when I first got, hey, when you building a new school, probably while I'm on the board, probably not happening, except for the exception of Oahe, which came from the state. Most folks locally don't realize how intertwined the district is with the state agencies. But without that infusion for the Oahe school, the district isn't building any new full schools. So it impedes us there. I'm actually on the AB 519, I don't know what we're calling it.
The subcommittee
it's a
or
panel.
Subcommittee
Okay.
panel.
Right.
And so I get updates for that too as well, but that also involves our capital improvement. So I would encourage, unfortunately I can't lead a coalition of folks to try and get support to get our money back. We essentially have a third of the amount of money that we had before, with probably three-quarters, I joke, but and I don't have numbers, but 3/4 of the costs that we did prior to that, And when I talk to folks, when the vote was going on for the capital improvement, a lot of them were just angry about one building that was built. And I said, but what you're talking about is decades of no building then at that point. And most of them just couldn't see past that. So
unfortunately,
right now we're, with the last, I think it went to the Supreme Court on that bill, the 519, and they deemed it unconstitutional. So we're actually we're even more at the mercy of the county commissioners, which I appreciate them giving us the funds. Without it, we're not building new parking lots. We're not even talking about a new building or a new garage. We're not building ramps for anything. Some things we're supposed to do federally, we're just not building anything. And so we do appreciate that, but it's at 22 cents now instead of the 75. And whenever they feel like they don't want to give it anymore, they can just be like, we'll take that.
Well, and county commissioners have to be feeling now the impacts of, what they were accusing the school district of doing, of, not building certain projects or holding on to money, because county commissioners have millions and millions and millions of dollars just sitting around, and they can't get bids to come in for projects. They want a new justice center, or we need new ambulance and fire facilities. There are all kinds of needs.
For sure. Yeah, that is a thing too. I'm so sorry too.
No.
But that is a thing too as well.
Yeah.
that they're stuck in the same position. Do I find irony that the conversations we had over the capital improvement are the same that they're having currently? I do find irony in there. I'm hoping that Elko County as a whole, specifically in the politics reason and just in our policies in the area, we can grow up a little bit past the thoughts of yesteryear of not non-expansion and not being able, because currently we stayed at the status quo for so long that as things expand and costs expand, we're now stuck because we're behind. And so if we can have we don't need everybody coming in, every single person opening up and Elko just explode. We don't necessarily need that kind of growth, but it seems as this time we're not seeing a whole lot of industrial growth in our area. We're not seeing a whole lot of commerce growth in our area. Matter of fact, if I had to do a temperature, and this is me, I would say that there's probably some contraction in those sectors too as well. So no, it's a tough conversation because it seems as though Nevada doesn't have a lot of money to go around, and it seems like bids just continue to get higher and higher. I know that the way that we have done bid and building has come into the spotlight, at least at the district, and other governmental agencies who have changed to a different way of doing it. And that might be the wave of the future, but it's tough. It's tough all the way around, and so I just hope that we can have conversations about how do we expand and we make Elko better as opposed to how do we keep Elko the same. And that would be a better conversation.
Dr. Josh Byers is our guest today. He's an Elko County School Board trustee alongside our school superintendent, C.J. Anderson. We appreciate the conversation, gentlemen. And we know, C.J., that what often reflects this growth, or if there is a retraction, is registration. There's a new process in place, right? And it's important.
Yeah, so we were kind of forced into... maybe not forced is the right word, but we kind of had to find another solution when we were during the COVID timeframe of registration because doing everything in person was a little more problematic at the time. So we started having a virtual platform through Infinite Campus where all of our other student information is stored. So we started doing registration there for only new incoming students, whether from out of state or another district within the state, or just new kindergartners. But we're at a point now where just because as technology evolves, it's more problematic at this point now to have different to keep carrying things over and to just isolate that to the new incoming students. So we are now at a point where all students, regardless of if you were a student here this year going into next year or not, all students have to register every year.
Every year?
Every year.
Wow,
every
that
student.
is new and different.
So it's a lot.
And this isn't a federal mandate?
No, this is just, this is our new process. We're not being required to do this. But there are so many things, just from a administrative side of the coin is that there are so many different administrative things that we have to have updated every year. And some of those we actually have legal obligations to update, and others are just very important to have. And, not too long ago, it was fine just to send papers home in a folder and have them come back.
Or if you're a kindergartner, pinned to your back.
Yep, and then bring it all back and and have an administrative employee input those things manually. But with the type of technology we have today and the ease with which those things can be done, it just makes more sense from an efficiency standpoint, from a financial standpoint, and from accuracy standpoint to have people do that regularly. And for those folks who are doing it, maybe for their first time, but their kids have been here for a long time, if there's not much to change, then it'll be a rapid process, right? So it's not like it's going to be an hours long. I have 4 kids in school. We're not going to spend an hour for each kid to do that. It's not.
They
live
in the same house. They have the same address.
Yeah, same phone number, same email addresses, same.
Right.
A lot of it, none of that's going to change, except for in the case that it does. Then you make that minor update. But there are some pretty important elements of that, and what we're finding right now is, again, it's a new process, so there's going to be hiccups, right? And we anticipate that's going to happen, and we're working through those. But there are a couple of things about that process that it's very important that you don't rush through, even though, given what I just said about it's not a big deal, just get it done. But there are certain things that are important, like there's a checkbox, for example, that where you either allow or don't allow your child to have access to a district device, a Chromebook, and whether or not they can use the internet. And some people are either on purpose or accidentally clicking no on that, which is problematic because
you can't study.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so much of our curriculum for lots of classes, depending on what grade or teacher or content area you're talking about, is run through digital platforms and all that. And so it's important that people look carefully at as you go through and make sure you give the proper approvals and that sort of thing. But it's a process that everyone needs to do. And definitely keep an eye out on school communications and district communications for doing that. We're constantly putting that information out. We did it semi-recently with kindergarten registration starting for next year, and we're seeing that there aren't as many as you would expect by this point of the year.
People aren't thinking about it. They
Right.
will in
No.
August,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, for sure.
Definitely.
They will.
Yeah.
But everyone who anticipates having a child start kindergarten next year, like, you could already be in there now. You could have your child registered and all that necessary information inputted. It's also very helpful for each of the schools that are expecting those children, because there are things that we do from a forecasting standpoint. Like, if we only see we have X number of kindergartners incoming, we have to make personnel decisions. So if a school that usually has 60 kindergarten kids, and that's, roughly probably about 3 kindergarten teachers, and we see that school has 40, we may have to make a programmatic decision to say, well, we only have 2 kindergarten teachers at that school this year, and we're going to move this one over to this other place where registration is going the way it's supposed to. And so we try to anticipate things best we can, but those registrations are very important. And if someone is struggling with how to do that, you can come in person and someone will work, or you can call one of the
at your campus,
people from the office
Okay.
at your campus. Someone will walk you through that stuff. Like, you're not on your own, but it is it's mostly pretty intuitive. And if you get stuck on something, just call someone. I had a good friend of mine recently say, "Hey, what's the deal with this part of the thing? That was a real problem." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's actually not that big of a deal. It's just this, and give the school a call. They'll help you out." We have really nice people that work at our schools, and they'll be happy to assist you.
ECSDNV.net, right? That's you could find their student portal there.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on that, Dr. Josh? I know.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great step in the right direction. We are a digital nation, right? And so as we move forward, that's what's going to go. If I had to guess, I would guess that it's those that already have kids in the district and are like, why do I have to do it again? Yeah. And I would just say, hey, you probably do that, the same thing that you do at your physician, right? You probably do that at places you go regularly. You have to check in about once every year. Hey, is this your information?
They hand you the iPad or the clipboard.
Confirm all your stuff. I know we do it at my clinic, right?
Yep.
And so that's going to be good. And eventually it becomes the norm, and then it's a moot conversation. People aren't having it. So, but I think it's great. Anything we can make to make things easier on our stakeholders, that's great. And the support, and just support it as we move forward. So it just makes it, there's many things that digital makes easier. So, and when they work great. And I think that this helps the district out. It helps the personnel we have out. And like he said, like Mr. Anderson said, the forecasting is going to be important as we move forward. If knowing this is a way that that the district can know where to put resources so we can support our community, because it is vast. Was it 5th largest by volume, something like that?
It's the 4th largest geographic district.
We have a lot of sagebrush in between.
For sure, but that's still a lot of area to cover.
About 9,500 students, right, or so?
Yeah, we're somewhere right around 95. That's kind of the roundabout number I give to people.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a big district. So help us out, help us help you, help us help you.
All right. So. There you go. Your new slogan. Alongside Learning for All, our guest today with the Elko County School District Superintendent C.J. Anderson and Dr. Josh Byers, our school board trustee. Any closing thoughts? We're about to sign off today, so we appreciate your being here. I know we want to give a shout out to the Addams Family Musical. It opens tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm going myself tonight. I'm
Great.
going to be unable the next 2 days, and so have to get it in tonight. And they did such a great job, kind of showcasing one of their musical numbers at our board meeting on Tuesday.
Oh my gosh, they blew me away when they were there. Like, especially that room, it's like squared off, right? It's like there's very little musical value in that room, right? It's meant for board meetings.
Sure.
But they filled that thing up. It was so amazing.
That's great.
And that's the other thing too, the arts in our area. I know there was a while that was kind of a lull, but our arts are exploding. I know Mr. Anderson continues to be part of that scene, but the arts in general, especially at EHS, and I think Spring Creek High School was doing some things too, and then all the independent companies.
We would love to give everybody a
I know,
performing
for sure.
arts building. We would.
It would be great. So,
yes.
But the arts continue to explode. So, and that was great on Tuesday. I was like sitting there. I'm like, all right, here we go, and then just music.
Wow.
It was wonderful. So wonderful things going on. And guess what? There was a teacher there. The teacher was there. So the extracurriculars that folks do, and all of them, the teachers show up. That's another way of them showing. They donate their time more than they have to. So. It's important.
Making it happen.
And not only teachers, but a couple of folks who were in the production of Chicago with me. Shauna Plunkett was there, and so was Laura Cidabaca. And those are a couple more individuals who are donating their time to do the vocal coaching and the dance coaching for those kids and bring them along.
So that's the support. When we talk about support from there, but support from our community. You can do stuff here, and you can just donate. I mean, I see that all the time at those different levels. Where, yes, as a mom or a dad, you donate your time to the class, but there's other people that are giving their time, and they don't even have a kid in there, and that is important. That's how, as a community, we continue to expand these programs and get these kids to be, community leaders when they leave this community. So
there you go. Next year, I think we should roll out report cards for parents in the community. Thanks, you guys.
Don't get me started.
Thank you both for being on the program today. And next time we meet up, I'm sure we'll be talking all about graduations. So stick with it. You're almost there. You're in the home stretch, seniors. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today, featuring our guest from the Elko County School District.